Midwest City, Oklahoma City, and streaming audio at KTLV1220.com.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are the views of the host and guests and not necessarily those of KTLV radio station. Any products endorsed on this program do not represent an endorsement by KTLV Radio, its staff, or management.
Good morning, Oklahoma City, and welcome to the Clara Luper Show. In a moment, your host, Clara Luper.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy good morning to you, wherever you are. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this show today is being brought to you by Miss Black, Oklahoma, which will be June the 10th through June 17th. Many of you have called me, and you want to know who all's participating in Miss Black, Oklahoma, which is an educational and motivational pageant. It's not a pageant as you have known it. It's an educational and motivational pageant. I will tell you there will be the following cities and counties and universities will be represented. Okay, I'll take you down the list. Ardmore, Britain, Cameron University, Choctaw, Cleveland County, Clinton, Comanche County, Crutcho, Dale City, Enid, Forest Park, Garfield County, Guthrie, Langston University, Midwest City, Moore, Muskogee County, Oklahoma City Community College, Miss Black, Oklahoma City University, Oklahoma County, Oklahoma State University, Okmulgee, Shawnee, Spencer, Tulsa County, Rose State College, University of Central Oklahoma, Village, Nichols Hill, Putnam City, Saskawa, Wewoka, and Gilcrease. Now, many of you have asked me about it. I've told you, and the judges are all ready. We will have judges. Our judges will come from the following places: Wichita, Kansas, New York City, Spencer, Oklahoma, Austin, Texas, Muskogee, Tulsa, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Oklahoma City, Guthrie, Pittsburgh, Texas. Now, what a combination. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and that part of the show was brought to you by Mr. Black, Oklahoma. And we would like for you to tell your friends. It'll be June 10th to the 17th, and the tickets have already gone on sale. The theme for this year's contestants, theme is Born to Succeed. Well, let me tell you about the Oklahoma Baptist Convention Prison Ministry, first annual statewide prison ministry workshop, which will be April the 29th at the New Zion Baptist Church, located at 2801 North Kelly Avenue. They will register from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. The workshop will be from 9 to 1 p.m. The registration, including a luncheon, and that's going to be a delicious luncheon, will be at 10 o'clock. Contact Donna K. Thompson, Post Office Box 36188, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73136, or you may call her at 209-6750. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and today we are thinking about, and we are talking about Langston University. I'm expecting the president of Langston University to call me at exactly 9:15. When we think about Langston University, we think about Dr. Holloway. Dr. Holloway resigned this year, retired, and Thelma Parks wrote these words. Our nation has been blessed because of your dedication, commitment, and service to people in making this world a better place in which to live, to work, and to serve mankind. Thelma Parks said that a man makes a living by what he does, a life by what he gives. Dr. Holloway, you are appreciated by Langston University, alumni, citizens of this state and nation, and global friends for the many things you've done for our great university. Your contributions have separated you from the ordinary rank of university presidents to one of unparalleled stature. The Heavenly Father is not finished with you. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Today, one needs to look at the physical plan of Langston University, assess the academic growth, along with the development of programs and activities, and compare them to the time when you first became president. You have done an outstanding job, President. Thelma R. Parks, a member of the Oklahoma City Board of Education and a graduate of Langston University. Yes, today our eyes are toward Langston University, and people were wondering what would happen to Langston University after Dr. Holloway had retired. You have asked me so many questions. I have invited the president of Langston University to be here today with me. Okay, because I wanted to ask her some questions, and you wanted to ask her some. Madam President.
Good morning, Miss Luper. I'm here.
Oh, well, good. You're here.
Yes.
And I've been talking about you,
Wonderful.
and I've told everybody all over the United States that you would be with me today.
Thank you.
I am real proud of Langston University, and I'm one of the graduates of Langston University. And when Dr. Holloway resigned, I wrote him a letter, and I said, Dr. Holloway, years of hard work, study, faith, devotion, and common courtesy cemented with knowledge, determination, and vision have brought us to this moment in history. I told him that he had changed Langston University from a local, self-centered university and made it into an international respected university.
That's correct.
His slogan was Langston to the world, penetrated not only into our souls, but deep into our hearts. And then we all wondered what would happen to Langston University after Dr. Holloway. Welcome to the Clara Luper radio show and to the thousands of people that are listening to you today. How are you?
I am doing well, Mrs. Luper, and I share in your comments regarding Langston University's history, and I am looking forward to taking it on to the road to excellence.
Okay, now let's talk about you. The state wants to know about you.
Yes.
Where are you from?
I was originally born in a small town in South Carolina named Kingstree. For most people that are not familiar with that area, they have probably heard of Charleston. My hometown is about 60 miles from Charleston. May have also heard of Sumter because there's an Air Force base there. My hometown is about 38 miles from Sumter, near the coastal area.
Where did you finish high school?
I finished high school in a segregated school that was named Tomlinson High School, also located in Kingstree.
Okay, now, you know, I always brag because I know I'm smart. I finished in the top 5 of my class from Grayson High School, but there were only 5 in my class. About how many were in your class when you finished?
As I recall, there were 150 plus, and I graduated a year ahead of my class into the class ahead of me.
Oh, you graduated a year
Yes,
ahead of your class?
Graduated from high school at the age of 15 and started college at the age of 16.
Okay, where did you go to college?
I went to Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, what did you major in?
I majored in psychology.
In psychology?
Yes.
Oh, great. And then what?
After I completed my undergraduate degree there, believe it or not, I tell people the story that I didn't realize that with a baccalaureate degree in psychology, I couldn't hang out my shingle and practice my craft. So then I went back to school, but in order to get there, I had to take a job. So I also indicate to people that I kind of got into education. One might refer to it as through the back door, because my original plans when I went to college was to be a clinical psychologist. My parents had 3 children. All of us were in college at one time. They could not afford for us to go to the master's degree, so they promised us the first degree. Anything after that, they said, you're on your own. So being on my own to get my further education, I took a job in the public school systems in Tuskegee, Alabama, Macon County Public School System. I was fortunate enough to meet a superintendent who believed in young people, and he hired me as an educational planner in the Macon County School System. His name was Ulysses Bias.
I don't understand what an educational planner is.
That's the person who assumes the responsibility for determining the direction in which education, common education, should move in that particular location.
Okay.
As an example, I wrote programs to allow students that were dropouts to return to school. I wrote programs that allowed children that had babies to come back to school and bring their babies with them. It was the first such program in the Macon County Public School System, and it was housed at the high school there, that is Tuskegee High School.
What did you do with all those crying babies?
We had a special facility built for those crying babies that the teenage mothers took those babies. There was a special bus we had for them, picked those mothers up with those babies. The mothers came to school, took the babies to the childhood center, which was on the campus of the high school, walked from that center into class, completed their education. So I've had a long, long history of dealing with students and educational process and trying to ensure that we take them where they are and move them where they should be.
Okay, after you left that high school, where did you go?
When I left high school there, I was fortunate enough to get a Ford Foundation Fellowship to continue my higher education at San Jose State University. It was a fully paid scholarship. So I, at that time, referred to the Ford Foundation and Mr. Ford as Father Ford.
Okay, I didn't understand the university.
San Jose State
Okay.
University in San Jose, California.
Okay.
My commitment there was to go to school and return to the Macon County school system. That was a part of the fellowship agreement. So I did that. I came back to the Macon County school system in Tuskegee. And from there, I pursued my doctorate at Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama.
Okay, and you received your PhD.
Yes.
Did you have to write a thesis?
Oh, I had to write a dissertation, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And what did you write about?
I wrote about children that misbehaved in the public schools. I took the 8th grade, and I developed a relaxation training model. The idea was to hopefully provide for them some techniques that when they face anxiety-provoking stimuli, that they would be able to employ self-control mechanisms, that they would not act out, fight, and get into trouble, and create discipline problems for the school.
You should turn that into a book, because that's certainly needed in our schools today.
Well, it certainly is. I just did not do that, but I found that it was very effective for 8th grade boys, more so than girls, and it tended to minimize their violence potential, because what it does, as I said, it gave them a technique to relax, so that when they were facing anxiety, they would have the opportunity to think through what was occurring and then to impose self-control so that they would not immediately react to things that would yield a problematic situation for them and others.
Okay, what happened next?
When I completed my doctoral program, my major professor was instrumental during that time to help me attend some professional conferences. And I attended a professional conference in Atlanta, Georgia. I met a Dr. Lowe at Virginia State University who offered me a position when I graduated. And when I graduated, I called him up. They interviewed me by phone and flew me to Virginia State. And I began my professional career there in higher education.
Oh, they just interviewed you by telephone and hired you?
That's correct.
Okay, what happened next?
Once I completed my 2 years at Virginia State, during that period I was an assistant professor for higher education. I worked with the dean of the school. Her name was Martha Dawson. She was a graduate of Virginia State. I also directed their laboratory school. I directed the research and minority program for women in sciences and research. Dr. Dawson was so impressed with my work ethics and experiences that she hired me to do some continuous work in her office. And when she left, she went to Hampton University. She said to the president there that I know a young woman. I'd like to come in and serve as my assistant vice president for academic affairs. So I left Virginia State, interviewed with Dr. William R. Harvey, and was hired at Hampton University in 1980. And at that point, I spent 25 years at that institution as a part of a very progressive team that built that institution to the institution that it is today.
I'm not familiar with what it is today. What is it today?
Hampton University is among the top 3 HBCUs in the country. And I use that benchmark thinking of a couple of things. One being the financial stability of the institution with endowments. Second being the quality of programs that it has. Third being the continuity of the leadership team that it has had. With that kind of accolades in my judgment, and I think it's an objective analysis, as would be shared by others, it is one of the top HBCUs in the country.
Okay. Then you developed a program there at Hampton.
Oh, I helped to develop a number of programs at Hampton.
For example?
As an example, I was the provost when we started the first PhD program in nursing at an HBCU in the country.
Okay, when you say provost, what are you saying?
I was at that time the second ranking officer at the institution.
Okay.
And had the responsibilities primarily as the chief academic officer.
Okay.
So again, the first PhD program in nursing. We had an accredited program in aviation. We had at that point the first pharmacy program at the school. We had the first DPT program at the institution and a PhD in physics. All of those programs were programs that I was instrumental in helping to develop.
All right, now you developed those programs and you stayed at Hampton, which is a private institution, isn't it?
That is correct.
For 25 years.
That is correct.
When did you have time to fall in love and get married?
I don't even remember when I had time to fall in love and get married, but all of it happened before Hampton. So when was the time? Gee, I couldn't tell you. And I say that thinking about, I don't know if I ever had the time.
Oh, you just
in terms
fell
of the kinds of things that I did, but it
fell in
happened
love.
along the way.
Okay, and who did you fall in love with?
I fell in love and married my husband, whose name is Burrell Haysbert.
Great. How long have you been married?
Oh, gee. Now you're asking me another hot question. Too long.
Too long. Oh, good. But you were married long enough to get some children, were
I
you
have
not?
5 children. That's
You have
correct.
5 children?
I have 5 children. Yes, married long enough to get all those kids.
Okay, now where are they now?
My oldest son is a public school teacher in Maryland. He actually lives in Maryland, but he teaches in the D.C., Maryland area. My second child is a daughter, and she's here with me working on her master's. My third child is a son. He's in New York. He works for J.P. Morgan. My fourth child is a son. He is a junior computer engineering major at Hampton. And my fifth child is a daughter, and she is a freshman high school student at Guthrie High here in Oklahoma.
Oh, I see. Well, what does your husband do?
He's a real estate broker.
Where?
He's in Virginia.
Okay, well, he better come to Oklahoma, don't he?
Well, his business has him there, so that will be determined by him.
Okay, not by you, by him, really.
That is correct.
Okay, now, when did you hear about Langston University?
I heard about Langston University by hearing about Ernest L. Holloway, to be quite honest with you. Dr. Holloway, as you have said, as I heard you talk about the institution, is well known throughout the historical black community college environment. He is known as an individual who's been very outspoken for HBCs, very outspoken for African Americans, and very outspoken for education in general. So I knew of Dr. Holloway long before I knew of his institution. So I met him some years ago as a part of NAFIO, which is that organization that spearheads the legislative initiatives and the like for HBCUs, for which there are about 105 members of the organization.
Okay, and so you heard about Langston University.
Yes.
And you applied for the presidency of Langston University.
Yes, I
Is
did.
that correct? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, now, what do you feel? I mean, you came to Langston in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, right?
Yes, I did.
And I happened to be one of the people that interviewed you.
Oh, yes, you did.
I thought I did a good job. I'm
You
from
did a
Auckland,
superb
Oklahoma.
job, and I say it like that because I've said to you, I knew then as I sat and observed you on the front row, with the look that you were giving me, you were telling me and anybody else that could see your face, she better get this right.
Yes, you remember I asked you, I say, okay, what's going to happen to the teachers and the people out at Langston University?
That's correct. You asked me that.
And you told me what you're going to do.
Yes, you asked me, you said, now, if you get this job, are you going to fire all the deans and the chairs and all those people? I said, Ms. Luper, do I look like, I didn't know your name, but I said, do I look like a foolish woman? And you looked at me and said, well, no, I'm not. So, no, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I remember that quite well.
Yes.
You are a member of a sorority, too, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Which one?
I'm an Alpha Kappa Alpha lady.
Oh, I see. You're an Alpha Kappa Alpha lady. Well,
Yes,
I'm
I
a
am.
Zeta Phi Beta sorority lady.
Wonderful.
And
My
my
mentor was as well.
And,
My mentor is as well.
Oh, good. And my best sister is a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. I have another sister. Oh, not biologically. Who's a member of the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. They are all good.
Oh, yes.
But then we get back to Langston University. I
Please.
heard you speak at a reception at the state capitol, and you said you had a new vision for Langston University. What is that vision?
My vision is to move Langston from excellence to greatness. And in order to do that, I have, and my constituency body, I should add, has joined me in developing this new 10-year vision for the institution. It includes, first and foremost, preparing students for a global marketplace, and to do that, making the institution a student-centered campus. As a student-centered campus, we envision recruitment of students that are not only African Americans, Caucasians, but with a special emphasis on Hispanics and Native Americans. As such, we hope to increase our enrollment to 5,000 within the next 5-year period.
Okay, now you have lost me. You're going to go out and solicit what group of students?
Hispanics and Native Americans.
Or what are you going to do about the black students?
Well, what I said was we're going to continue to recruit African Americans and Caucasians. We're going to put an emphasis on Native Americans and Hispanics because those two populations are not well served at Langston. That does not mean by any means that we're going to stop recruiting our own. That would defy our very mission. But at the same time, there are other minorities in the state of Oklahoma that I think deserve the opportunity to be educated at this great university. And as such, I want to make sure that they have that opportunity. So that's what I mean when I say that we will put an emphasis on recruiting Hispanics and Native Americans because we have not done that to the extent in times past that the representation on our campuses are reflective of the percentage of those minorities in the state of Oklahoma.
How are you going to do it?
We're going to hire a recruiter that has the experience and the language, a bilingual recruiter that can help us to infiltrate, for lack of a better term, the school systems where Hispanics are educated more than not, and then share with them the good news about Langston University.
But when are you going to do that?
We're going to do it all over the state. There are some high
I say,
schools.
when are you going to do it?
Oh, we have begun that process already.
Oh, you've already hired someone to do it?
We have not hired them. We're in the process. We've had at least one or two that have been identified. We're in the process of interviewing, setting up interviews for those individuals so that we can bring one of them on board. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, since you have been at Langston University, have you hired new people?
I have hired no one to date. I have hired no one to date.
Have you fired any?
I have terminated one individual. There have been some individuals that have been notified that their contracts will be non-renewed. Now, you know, that's totally different from terminating a person.
Okay, well, explain it to me. Remember, I'm from Grayson High School. Okay, because see, I have been fired. I was picking cotton down in Hoffman, Oklahoma. No, I was chopping cotton, my sister and I. And Mrs. Bennett fired me and paid me. We were making 75 cents a day and paid me 37 cents. And boy, she just walked there and said, "You're fired, Clara Shepherd." And I never forgot that, really. I've never forgotten that, and I've told it all over the world. I got fired because I was chopping cotton. She said I was chopping too much cotton down. When you have a contractor, you have to explain to people why you fired them.
Well, let me go back and tell you, first of all, we've had an experience. I not only chopped the cotton, I had to pick the cotton as well, so I do understand what that's like.
Okay.
Now, in the state of Oklahoma, and you probably know more about this than I do, but in the state of Oklahoma, the state is an at-will state. Now, that means that not only can the employees indicate to the place of employ when they want to leave, either by retirement or resignation, that the employer can also notify the employee when they would like to not renew their contract. And in either case, there is no reason that the individual or the institution has to say the whys. For example, with that same scenario you shared, if you would decide that you didn't want to pick the cotton anymore that day, you could have notified the person that hired you that, well, you know, I don't think I'm going to pick cotton anymore today. Can you give me my wages? The person then would have to give you your wages and you'd be on your way. So at will means that the employee can notify the employer, or in this case the institution, that they are resigning and moving on. They're only required to inform them, and that's a professional courtesy. By the same token, the institution can notify individuals that they're not going to renew their contract. And yes, there have been some individuals notified that the institution would not renew their contract.
Okay, now, what are the terms about which you use not to renew people's contracts?
The terms...
Because I might come out there and apply for a job, and if my contract is terminated, you have never seen such hell that I would raise.
Well, that's all right. You can do that.
Okay.
You can do that. As I said, the state is an at-will state. Now, that's not something that I created when I got here. That's just the way that is. And that, again, means that both individuals can notify the other that you're discontinuing your agreement to work for them or they work for you.
Okay, now let me ask you.
Yes.
When you say to an employee, I'm not going to renew your contract, does that mean that they have not done their job well?
Not necessarily.
Well, what does it mean?
It means that the institution, let me back up and say this. It means that the institution has organized. You just asked me the question in terms of where Langston's going. What's my vision? You've heard me talk about it. When an institution or an organization, the country or the state, has a new direction, a new vision, in which they decided not to remain stagnant, then with that new vision, that new direction, the organization is going to determine what they need to put in place in order to move forward. That's whether it's Langston University, state of Oklahoma, or the United States of America. And what has happened here at Langston, or is presently happening here at Langston, is just that. Every constituency group, faculty, staff, alumni, students, and current administration had a role to play in the vision for Langston's future. With that vision for Langston's future, it's calling for some reorganization. For example, I just said to you that part of the vision is to recruit our students and increase the enrollment to 5,000. That means it's going to necessitate some changes. Some of the changes there will mean, as you just heard me say, to hire a new recruiter. Another change would be that we have to look at classroom teaching facilities. We will need more for that number of student increase. There are any number of changes that will occur with the new vision. And part of the changes that will occur, that is occurring, is that to position the institution for the next 10 years there will be a need and has been a need to restructure. And in that regard, there are going to be individuals whose contract will not be renewed, and there may be other individuals who will be offered a new employment appointment. But those things have not occurred.
Okay, since you've been at Langston University, have you had the opportunity in the few months that you've been there to evaluate your staff to such an extent that you would understand which members of the staff, which members are not ready to go into this new vision?
Those individuals that have done that evaluation, Mrs. Luper, well, I have had that opportunity to evaluate those individuals sitting at my table. When I say my table, I'm talking about those that represent the administrative council, my vice presidents and the like. Those individuals have had the responsibility for evaluating the individuals under them. They are those that made the decisions in terms of their particular units as to who would be non-reappointed.
Oh, I see. You're saying that, okay, now look at me. I'm in the history department.
Yes.
Now, for a minute, my boss has evaluated me and said, Clara, you aren't going to the new vision. You're not fitting into the new vision. And then the head of that department would recommend to the president that my contract would be terminated.
Not quite right.
Well, what's wrong about it? Tell me.
I'm getting ready to.
Okay.
And I'm very pleased that you've given me the opportunity to explain this, because I know a number of people, as rumors would have it, are rumor milling it. What has occurred is simply this. Yes, there is a new vision. And each individual that is not going to be continued may or may not have anything to do with their performance. But what has occurred is that the immediate supervisor, who works most closely with that individual, as you have indicated, would be the best person to do the assessment or evaluation and make any determinations about that person's employment. That individual would then notify the faculty or staff that they are recommending non-reappointment for them. They would make that recommendation in a written form to their immediate supervisor, which may be the dean or another unit head. And from there, it goes to a particular vice president.
Well, who will evaluate the supervisors?
I'm sorry?
Who will evaluate the supervisors?
Ultimately, a vice president is over every aspect of the university. For example, for the teaching aspect of it, there's a vice president for academic affairs. For the student aspect of it, there's a vice president for student affairs. For the fiscal and administrative services aspect of the institution, there's a vice president for physical affairs. Then, of course, the president is their immediate supervisor. So those vice presidents are the individuals that sit at my table that, yes, for the time that I've been here and the experience I bring to the table, I'm able to evaluate them. I'm their immediate supervisor. They, in turn, serve as supervisors for others. And those individuals are able to make those evaluations and assessments. Just as you are on your program, there's, you can evaluate anyone that works with you in your program. And that's the kind of thing that's happened here. So those individuals have sat with individuals, told them what they're recommending. They then have made those recommendations. They have received non-reappointment letters, and their appointment will not be continued at the end of their appointment period. And that period may be June, it may be August, maybe October, I don't know all of
What has
it.
been the reaction to that?
What has been the reaction?
Yes.
The kind of reaction that I'm getting now. People ask me questions about it. I've had about 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 telephone calls, that's all. Because the thing that I find is that most people that have asked me about it, once I've explained what it is, they do understand what at will is all about. They do understand that when there's a new organizational structure and changes and a vision, that there will be changes. No institution, no organization, no entity can remain stagnant. If you intend to move and grow, change is imminent.
Well, you aren't saying that Langston was stagnant, are you?
No, I said no institution can remain stagnant. No institution, not as in institution Langston, any entity. Maybe that's a better word. No
Okay,
entity.
Now, when we look at things, you say that your words are, and I hope I'm quoting you correctly, that you're going to move Langston from greatness or from excellence to greatness.
That is correct.
Okay, now explain that.
That's the theme that the administration and I have adapted. The institution, as you said, without question, is not only a fine institution, it's an excellent one. But I believe that there's always a more excellent way. In spite of the tremendously effective job that Langston has done over its history, there is still room for growth, development, and as I said, a more excellent way.
Okay,
We
now
have
I want
carved out that more excellent way with the 10-year vision of the institution.
I want you to stay on the line because our telephones are just lighted up here. People asking questions. In the meantime, I've got to make some very important announcements. This portion of our program is being brought to you by Allstate Insurance Company, Marilyn Hildred. You may call her at 843-0811. And uniquely you may go out to 830 North Britton Road, 730 Britton Road, and get the kind of dress that will make you stand out. Our next, this portion is also brought to you by Johnson Sardinas Daycare, located in the heart of Oklahoma City. Johnson Sardinas Daycare, excellent training, preparing young people for the real world. Mrs. Gloria Mathis and Mr. Paul Matthews are the owners, and they are giving us the opportunity today to speak to the president of Langston University and answer some of the questions that you won't answer. The questions are coming in, and you may continue to call out here, and we will certainly get around to answering the question. We do appreciate your involvement in this program. Now, Johnson Sardinas Daycare, 424-4656. You may call them, and they will take care of business. Calvin, you all smiling. You're very happy today, aren't you?
Mom, I'm extremely happy, and I'd like to welcome the president of Langston University to the Clara Luper radio show, where we're live and in beautiful living color. I'd also like to thank her for taking the time out of her morning to be a part of this show, explaining to the most intelligent listening audience in the world, not only in Oklahoma, but the world, about what's going to be happening at Langston University. We have a caller on the line that has a question for you, but we accept the question. Have you,
Calvin, you
Madam
write down
President.
the question. Get the question, write it down, and I will give it to the president.
Madam President.
In the meantime, we were at Oklahoma State University, and the president came out and took his picture with me and welcomed me to the campus,
Pistol Pete
and also Pistol
Do
Pete.
we have a, well, that's
We
the
have
question.
someone
Do
on
we
the
have
line.
a,
Get the question so we can answer. Okay, here's a question for you, Madam President. This question is it true that a large number of students have been expelled from Langston University and they are still living on the campus?
I would hope that that is not true, because the term expel or expulsion means that the person is no longer a student. So I would hope that that is not true, because of the very nature of the word, meaning expulsion. Now, that is something that I would certainly investigate and determine any truth to it. But if one has been expelled from the institution, they should not be living on the campus.
Okay, and that's one question that has come in. The next question is, you say you're moving Langston University to true greatness. What does that look like?
From excellence to greatness means that we will achieve the 9 or so core components of our vision.
You have 9 components?
About 9 components.
Okay, let's name some of them very quickly.
One of which I talked about when I said that we were going to increase the enrollment, become a student-centered campus. Another which is quality scholarly activities. Another which is program of distinction, closing the digital divide, distance education, fundraising, and capital growth. Those
Okay.
are all core components of the vision statement. When we have achieved the aspects of our hope and dream for Langston and those core component areas, in our judgment, we will have moved the institution from excellence to greatness.
Okay, once again, we appreciate your question. If you have a question, be sure and call it in here, and we'll be happy to ask the president for you. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this is the show that you have waited for. I was supposed to talk to the president just a few minutes, and I've been talking to the president for the last 28 minutes. That's really something, Kevin. Who would have believed it?
I wouldn't have believed it. I didn't believe it.
And I've just gotten a call from Oklahoma State University. That president wants to be on, and we are going to allow that president to be on. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I'm talking to the president of Langston University, my university, your university. Now, Madam President, what about the future of Langston University's urban centers in Tulsa and Oklahoma City? That's a question that has just come in.
I'm so very pleased that that question is asked. It's one that's been asked of me quite a bit since I've been at Langston and, of course, in the great state of Oklahoma. And my resounding answer is there will continue to be a Langston University presence in Tulsa. What we're hoping to do at this point is that prior to my arrival, we were approved for Entrepreneurship Studies Center. We're in the process now. I just received at the board meeting yesterday approval to search and bring on board a dean for that new Entrepreneurship Studies Center. And I've just recently attended a national forum in Atlanta where I was a part of the first policy forum discussion on entrepreneurship studies for the country. So we're hoping to corner that market in Tulsa with our entrepreneurship studies.
What about Oklahoma City?
Well, I thought you first asked me about Tulsa.
Okay, now I'm asking you about Oklahoma City.
In Oklahoma City, we have one of our programs of distinction there that we hope to grow, and that is the program in rehabilitation counseling. That program, as you know, offers one of two masters in rehabilitation counseling. We have received approval from the A&M Board of Regents to pursue that program to the PhD level. We are pursuing approval now from the state regents of higher education for the PhD in rehabilitation counseling at our Oklahoma City campus. With that success, we will be the first such program in the state of Oklahoma.
Okay, we have a question. A lady's on the telephone
Yes.
and says she just has to ask you a question. Calvin, is that Coco?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Coco, come on with your
Doug.
question.
Lex.
Okay. With a question.
Okay. Good
Okay.
morning, Coco. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
We want the question. What was the question you wanted to ask?
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to let her know that I planned on going to Langston University.
Okay, well, thank you. I know that would make her happy.
Okay.
Are you Hispanic? Are you Indian? Are you black?
I'm African American.
Oh, you're African American. Okay. Well, thank you. We'll catch it next week. We want to finish and try to get some of these answers to the president of Langston University. Madam President, we have another question here. I don't think that's important. They call you the hat-wearing president.
Yes, I am.
Why do you wear hats?
That's my signature.
Your signature.
That's my signature. I've been wearing hats for, I don't know, maybe about 15 or 20 years now, thereabouts. And I'll be honest with you, Ms. Luper, when I wear them, they're for a number of reasons, one of which I think I'm in good company when I see women like Dorothy Height and the Queen Elizabeth. They wear hats, so I'm in that company of a hat-wearing lady, and I love it. I also believe that a Southern woman, again, that's my rearing, my teaching, and my belief, that a Southern woman is adorned when she has a hat on. And obviously we know from our religious beliefs, for many, that one woman prays with a hat on.
Well, I wear a hat once a year, and that's Easter, and I wear the same hat every Easter.
Oh,
And
that's
last
wonderful.
week when I walked in my church, one of the members said, well, I know it's Easter. Clara Luper's here with that same old ugly hat. Well, look, this is the Clara Luper radio show, and I'm very proud of Miss Black, Langston University. I was out at your pageant. Dr. Jones did a terrific job in representing
very
you.
much.
And I missed you at that university's event.
Well, if I was not at that occasion, that means that I was out on official business somewhere else. Other than that, I'm very involved in my students' activities.
Okay, now we have talked about the contract at Will State, poor Oklahoma with an at Will State, and you have talked about how many. You've told me, and let's see, I'm trying to go through these questions and get the ones that will do. If I was out there, if I was at Langston University, I would really be wondering if I'm going to get a contract.
No, you wouldn't.
Why?
No, you wouldn't, because the non-reappointment letters have gone out, and
They've already gone out.
Yes, they've been out since the 21st, and I think that there are only, and I'm glad I got a chance to say this, I think that there are about 26 people affected. 15 of them are grant supported. Only 11 of those individuals are supported by state funds.
Okay, can they reapply?
They may reapply for other positions.
Okay, what other positions are open?
We're going to announce some positions. For example, there's a position that's on, I call it the wire now, for a CIO, a Chief Information Officer. That's out there. There are positions for counselors. That's out there. There's position for the one I just mentioned to you before. That is the Dean of the as a position that's open up. I have indicated would be that ultimately a vice president is over every aspect of the university. For example, for the teaching aspect of it, there's a vice president for academic affairs. For the student aspect of it, there's a vice president for student affairs. For the fiscal and administrative services aspect of the institution, there's a vice president for physical affairs. Then, of course, the president is their immediate supervisor. So those vice presidents are the individuals that sit at my table. But yes, for the time that I've been here, the experience I bring to the table, I'm able to evaluate them. I'm their immediate supervisor. They, in turn, serve as supervisors for others. And those individuals are able to make those evaluations and assessments. Just as you are on your program, that you can evaluate anyone that works with you in your program. And that's the kind of thing that's happened here. If those individuals have sat with individuals, show them what they're recommending, they then have made those recommendations, they have received non-reappointment letters, and their appointments will not be continued at the end of their appointment period. And that period may be June, maybe August, October, I don't know.
Now, what has been the reaction to that?
What has been the reaction? The kind of reaction that I'm getting now. People ask me questions about it. I've had about 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 telephone calls. That's all. Because the thing that I find is that most people that have asked me about it, once I've explained what it is, they do understand what at will is all about. They do understand that when there's a new organizational structure and changes and a vision, that there will be change. No institution, no organization, no entity can remain stagnant. If you intend to move and grow, change is imminent.
Well, you aren't saying that Langston is stagnant, or
No, I said no institution can remain stagnant. No institution, not as in institution Langston, any entity. Maybe that's a better word. No entity.
Now, when we look at things, you say that your words, and I hope I'm quoting you correctly, that you're going to move Langston from greatness or from excellence to greatness.
That is correct.
Okay, now explain that.
That's the theme that the administration and I have adapted. The institution, as you said, without question, is not only a fine institution, it's an excellent one. But I believe that there's always a more excellent way. In spite of the tremendously effective job that Langston has done over its history, there is still room for growth, development, and as I said, more excellent ways.
Okay,
We
now I
have
want
carved out that more excellent ways for 15 years vision of the institution.
Okay, I want you to stay on the line because our telephones are just lighted up here at people asking questions. In the meantime, I've got to make some very important announcements. This portion of our program is being brought to you by Allstate Insurance Company, Marilyn Hildreth. You may call her at 843-0811. And uniquely you may go out to 830 North Britain Road, 730 Britain Road, and get the kind of dress that will make you stand out. Our next, this portion is also brought to you by Thompson Sardina's Daycare, located in the heart of Oklahoma City. Thompson Sardina's Daycare, excellent training, preparing young people for the real world. Mrs. Gloria Matthews and Mr. Paul Matthews are the owners, and they are giving us the opportunity today to speak to the president of Langston University and answer some of the questions that you won't answer. The questions are coming in, and you may continue to call out here, and we will certainly go around to answer the questions. We do appreciate your involvement in this program. Now, Thompson Sardina's Daycare, 424-4656. You may call in, and they will take care of you. Calvin, you all smiling, and you're very happy today, aren't you?
I'm extremely happy, and I'd like to welcome the president of Langston University to the Clara Luper Radio Show, where we're live in beautiful living color. I'd also like to thank her for taking the time out of her morning to be a part of this show, explaining to the most intelligent listening audience in the world, not only in Oklahoma, but the world, about what's going to be happening at Langston University. We have a caller on the line that has a question for you, but will we
Okay,
accept the
Calvin,
question? Have you,
Calvin, you
Madam
write down
President.
get the question, write it down, and I will give it to the president.
Madam President.
In the meantime, we were at Oklahoma State University, and the president came out and took his picture with me and welcomed me to the campus, and also Mr.
Do we have a... Well,
We have someone
Do we
on the
have
line.
a...
Get the question so we can answer. Okay, here's a question for you, Madam President. This question is it true that a large number of students have been expelled from Langston University and they're still living on the campus?
I would hope that that is not true because the term expel or expulsion means that the person is no longer a student. So I would hope that that is not true because of the very nature of the word, meaning expulsion. Now that is something that I would certainly investigate and determine the truth to it. But if one has been expelled from the institution, they should not be living on the campus.
Okay, and that's one question that has come in. Then the next question is, you say you're moving Langston University to true greatness. What does that look like?
From excellence to greatness means that we will achieve the 9